All right, everybody, we are here with Kado Games. The mics are hot, and we are talking about trading card games. This episode is completely dedicated to the newly announced Riftbound, formerly known as Project K. You can check it all out on Twitter, the internet, YouTube. It's everywhere. But we have a guest, a blast from the past, the legend known as Rav. He's back to talk about Riftbound with me. How are you doing, man?
Not too bad. Excited. How about yourself?
Oh my gosh. So this is actually a lot more fun because the last time we recorded, we did it way in advance, and then the show came out, I think, like 5 or 6 weeks later. This is going to be recorded like the day of the announcement, and then it's going to go live in just a couple days. So this is actually going to be like fresh off the printer because, yeah, this is kind of a big one. So for those who don't know, Riot announced they're going to do a trading card game, and that was it. And then they announced it was going to be in China, and everyone was upset. And then they announced we're going to make it kind of worldwide. And then they announced Project K, and it was very, very loose. And that's kind of when we recorded earlier in the year, around January. So since that point in time, they've had a couple months to look at the feedback from the community, look at people's complaints, their compliments, just kind of parse through a lot of data points. And today they made the announcement of the game, which is now Riftbound. We'll probably still call it Project K because that's what we do, but they're synonymous. Yeah, Project K, Riftbound, same game. But they also had a huge reveal that people had complained that the card UI, the card design looked really bland. It looked very similar to the One Piece trading card game. It really didn't have anything interesting going on. It was pretty uneventful. We'll have pictures on our Twitter page where you can take a look at comparisons, but realistically the original card design that they revealed was not great. No one particularly liked it.
It was bad.
We talked about that in the last show. It was pretty mediocre. Like, it was interesting, but it was basically stock art from League of Legends. The card borders were white. It literally looked like they ripped off the One Piece trading card game, almost like blow for blow.
Yeah, and I'll admit early on, I went hard on the paint against against a lot of the things they're doing. I went hard.
Yeah, and I was just excited that the game was happening because I remember many, many, many moons ago, maybe it was a decade ago, when you probably remember this too, and Riot said they were going to diversify out of just League of Legends, and they were going to do fighting games and board games and trading card games, and they were going to try and touch, everything they could. Because they have the money, they have the resources, and they have the people to actually make these projects happen. Well, as a trading card game player, this is the thing I've been waiting for. And when they announced Project K, I was like, great, it's finally happening. And then we saw the cards, and it was like, this sucks. So today they have redeemed themselves, and not only do the cards look astronomically better, the UI looks better, the templating looks better, the design, the colors, but they actually have unique artwork for the champions, which is awesome because the original design was just the same pictures from League of Legends stock, no adjustments, and that sucked. So tell me, what are your thoughts on the new announcement? Like, this is basically like a hot take, first reaction. We quite literally had this news from Riftbound, 2 hours ago? 3 hours ago?
Roughly 2 hours ago at this point. They did a whole new announcement video of the game with a name. I mean, we still knew it was Riftbound for, I want to say, a couple weeks now. Or we saw them file the IP, I think, or the trademark patent office, whatever.
Yeah.
They filed for the name Riftbound. So people knew about it for a little bit. This is now officially announced. And man, the art is beautiful. The new UI, I mean, for those who will be looking this up later on, I mean, we didn't see anything of their commons and non-commons. We'll let that go off the bat. These are all their legends with a little bit special art border to them. This is an epic card that is listed in here with their Dead Boom Predator, which epic is a base rarity, isn't no special chase rare or anything of the sorts. So, this looks great. This is so much better. So much better.
I won't lie. If they just foil these and do nothing different, they're probably going to look amazing as well. Like,
agreed.
This is one of those weird paradigms where, so I think about Pokemon, and they have the regular card, then they have a reverse foil, then they have like a full art foil, and then they have like a rainbow and so on and so forth. The legend cards are good enough where they don't. We know that there's a secret rare variation. We don't know what it looks like, but it was announced. It does exist. But if they just foil the legend card, I still think that would be great because it looks like a full art at its base printing, which is awesome.
I mean, I'm more curious how they do the foil. Like, so for those, I know because it's been a long time. There's been a lot of actually announcements the last time we recorded.
Yeah.
So for those who aren't in the loop, they are partnered with Universes for their distribution. We can talk more about the distribution later on.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So Universes does have their special foils of stuff. They do now signature foils. They have some with like weird lines for the foils. They do some interesting foils. So I'm really curious to see if they're doing like special edition for like, oh, the gold border on some of these legend rares are foiled out only, and then maybe parts of the art. So I'm really just curious to see where they take the foiling.
I want a spot glass. I won't lie.
Oh, I mean, it'll look good. I mean, this all this art with this looks so good. I mean, Victor is now Arcane Victor. It's no longer Machine Herald Victor. They even changed the name.
Yeah.
That's updated. Like
the artwork is so much better.
Artwork is better. Background's better. Like the UI is cleaned. It's more easily tellable. Like what they have for the runes.
Yeah. The symbols are so much, they pop out so much better because initially the old version, it looked like a flag and they would have like multiple chevrons with the colors. Now it's like separate circles that are color graded and symbol graded. So if you're colorblind, you can tell the symbol. If you're not, it's easy to pop out, Jinx's blue, red, purple.
Red, purple.
Yeah. I'm a little bit colorblind, so the purple and blue look really similar to me. But the symbol pops out really nicely. And then on the loose cannon part at the bottom, the name has like a gradient between the red and the purple. So the purple's really easy to pop out. It's just that symbol against her background. It looks a little bluish next to her hair, but that's more of a me thing than anything else. But man, like it's so much easier to see what the card is. The name is much more pronounced. The places your eyeballs looking for like special rules or what set it's from or the casting cost at the top left or the power or might on the top right. Like it's just really, 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 really
I mean,
cool.
even reworked the might symbol.
Yeah, I know, it looks so much better.
Reworked the might symbol. Reworked the spell symbol. It looks like a little bit on the Super Mega Death Rocket, which is awesome. I mean, they included artists now in the card. You can actually tell who did the art, which is exciting to see. We have the new keyword boxes with Deflect, and even has like just the line of text on the card art. Is like the actual text is this so much cleaner text than what they had before. Before they had this very weird.
Yeah, we have flavor text too. Yeah,
flavor text. Like some of these cards, like let's look at the legends. The legends were black text with a very faded white background with a still white border around the text. Yeah. Now it's just clear background, nothing on it, white text. Cool. Going to units. Units are just a plain black text on a white background. This one here is still full art with no background because it's an epic card, but it's still white, this plain white text, but it's just the font. Like they italicized some of the keyword mechanic stuff. So you knew it was a ruling versus what the effect was. And it was just like, it's just so much cleaner.
Well, it's nice. Like you brought up a great thing, like the Dead Bloom Predator. So the effect, the reminder text is italicized.
Yep.
The card effect is not.
Yeah, so, which is like synergized across all TCGs. Like that's just how most of them do it.
Yeah, so you can easily look at the card and go, oh, Deflect. That's a special passive ability. What does it do? And italicized, it says opponents have to pay a rainbow rune.
One rune of any type.
Yeah, one rune of any type to choose to target this with a spell ability. Cool. That's just what it does all the time. And then when you play the card, it has the ability, you may play me to an occupied enemy battlefield that is not italicized. So there's a visual difference. So something that gets me really, 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 really excited. Like I'm so excited about this. I don't even know how to contain it. My wife has noticed I'm big into games, obviously. But
just now noticed.
Cough. She knew when we were dating, but she just finally said the magic words every boyfriend or husband wants to hear. I'd be interested in learning one of them trading cards you play. I was like,
oh, the magic.
Oh my god. So yeah, we've had conversations about like, well, there's magic and Pokemon and Lorcana and Star Wars, and I have more than enough cards to build decks. And they've all kind of been like a Maybe, kind of, sort of. So I find out she likes fantasy. So I'm like, okay, magic. We could do that. Well, then I start showing her things. It's like, well, it seems kind of complex, and she's not wrong. It is complex. And then Dave Tron hits the magic words when he goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna have like a super starter friendly community deck that's coming out with what is it, Annie?" There's 3 champs in that box.
Garen, I think Annie, Garen, and
something else.
Maybe Jinx, actually.
I don't know.
I mean, Jinx abilities are pretty straightforward.
Oh, maybe it was Jinx. But anyways, the moment he said we're starting with this box, it's perfect for newbies. It's perfect for people who've never played TCG before. And my eyes and heart just exploded because like this is perfect because she's never played a TCG before. She's totally new. But this is very much a fantasy style world, so it fits the format. It's multiplayer, so like we could play with friends. That's great. It's probably like the starter box is probably going to be very simplistic compared to more complex, archetypes and mechanics. Awesome. But the fact that right out of the gate they want to focus on newer players and people like newer people to the game or new people to TCGs, I'm absolutely buying that box. And this is the game I'm going to teach my wife. Like I'm probably going to like preemptively show her some Magic or Pokemon mechanics. But realistically, this is probably the game we're actually going to play together. And it was just like most games are like, here's a starter set, but it's not necessarily new player thinking. It's just new to that game thinking. So the fact that Riot Games has considered there's probably going to be a buttload of husbands and wives or boyfriends or girlfriends or spouses, partners, whoever that are going to be playing this with their other person. The fact that there's an introductory product that's going to be new to TCG player friendly is like perfect. This is awesome. You're geniuses. Thank you so much for considering, the other half of people's relationship in gaming.
Yeah, I mean, we also talked about this before though. Like I think we speculated this game's going to be very casual friendly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like I think they're going to hit it out of the run. We still know where it's going to be competitive. We've already seen the announcement with Dave says they're still fleshing out organized play details, which is still a little concerning, I won't lie, as a competitive gamer going into a still 2025 release. Granted, we don't know if that's like regional level up, like big tournaments, or if they're still working at the local play level of organized play. But I mean, this like I said, the starter set's gonna be great. I mean, especially when you think of like if for those who know League of Legends, like Annie, Garen, and Jinx are probably some of the easiest champions you could buy, pick up in League of Legends and play without having the highest skill ceiling.
Yeah,
like a lot of their abilities are point and click or right click only, and I think it's great to
cough. Spinning to win. I mean, like, yeah. I know what you're saying. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I think it is great that it's going to be in there, and I think it's going to be something that is going to be amazing for new players. And even though I'm going to go fully off topic here, but something I just noticed in like the bottom right corner of the Super Mega Death Rocket, they reworked the paying symbols for cards. So before, if you had to return one of your runes back to your rune deck for part of the cost, it was like a weird red purple gradient. Now it's a hard line red purple.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my god, that's so much cleaner. Like before, I had to literally look at the card and zoom in and go, what do you want me to do with this? I don't know. And so I mean, I'm excited. I'm overall excited. At everything. We just also they post a new banner where they have Ari officially confirmed with new art in the game.
Yeah, they do.
Like Ari's going to sell bucket loads of stuff for it. And, but
I think the most interesting thing is like they did it right.
Yeah.
after doing it wrong, which
I mean, still jury's out on that one. As we sort of allude to, Universal is still the backer.
Oh, we'll get to that. Yeah, that's another conundrum we'll tackle here. But like, okay, here's an interesting parallel. This feels like the Sonic movie. Remember that whole debacle?
It does.
Okay, so you have like ugly Sonic. We had like ugly Project K cards, and then the team goes, you know what? Everyone hates this. We have a lot of people saying this is not what they want. And then they go back and they make the current Sonic, which is really fun. It's really better than it should be. I've enjoyed the Sonic movies and I'm blown away at how fun they are. Also, Jim Carrey is literally Dr. Robotnik. He was Robert Downey Jr. was born to be Tony Stark. Jim Carrey was born to be Robotnik.
100%. I can get behind that.
Yeah. So this feels very similar where, we're looking at a post. Hold on, I want to quote the right person. So Riftbound Report on Twitter or X, I'm just going to call it Twitter. They came out with a visual graphic with the old cards that we don't like and the new cards that we do like. And you could just see such drastic improvements. Obviously the unit card and the item card are noticeably better, but they use, the same artwork. But the legends, your champion, the thing that represents you, drastic overhaul. Absolutely, completely redone. And it looks way like I think Victor has the best glow up here of the three.
Yeah, Victor probably is the best glow up. Well, now it's up to date. Jinx is up to date now with her current arcane lore. Yeah. Yasuo's got abs. Great. Yasuo got them abs.
He's got abs.
I mean, it's hard to say between honestly Victor and Dead Boom Predator. Man, that art is terrifying. Like that art is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
And I'm just too busy thinking about like that in foil with all that glowing parts. Like,
man. I mean, I wonder if the whole game is just going to be full arts. Like, take my money.
Well, they said mostly for these ones because it's like the base and the epics.
Okay.
So we still have commons and uncommons, which is going to be sort of held without it. So commons and uncommons, for example, Gus is a common and Discipline is an uncommon. These frames use the same style as the ones we just showed, but less art bleed, full art instead of back text box. Okay. So we're going to show more later on. So it's going to be less full art, probably a little more contained, a little bit less bleeding through. I mean, the main question is going to come down to, are they whiteboard or are they blackboarded?
Hopefully they're blackboarded. They listened.
Yeah, like I'm blackboarded with these. Like, I don't know how you can not do art bleed because then you still have to change the gold text around the one spoiled, like the gold frame, because it's no longer bleed. That frame doesn't fully work if you're now putting an actual frame around the card.
Well, and let's be honest. You're probably going to not worry too much about your commons and uncommons as much because you're going to have a million. They're pennies on the dollar. Like, oh, my common doesn't look nearly as sexy as my, my legendary. Okay, that's fine.
Fine. Yeah, no, I'm not too worried about those. Like you said, for the most part, it's going to be something that we have to see come out later on. But I mean, it's just great. We haven't seen anything different. So we have two epics, which are spoiled. Herald of the Arcane, Loose Cannon are all rare. Also specifically using a special legend frame. So there's a special legend frame for rare. So all your legends or champions get a special frame for just being a champion, which is cool. So your rares are still going to look a little bit different than the current ones, but I mean, it does make your deck feel a little more unique. It feels like champion you're playing a little bit more than feel thrown in there.
Yeah.
So
we also got Lee Sin.
Yep, that's right. Lee Sin full art was spoiled that we haven't seen a border of, I don't think yet. So we have to.
I hope he's as annoying as he is in League. I wonder if he's going to be able to like jump between locations.
He might. I mean, it would fit the theme. It isn't unheard of that we have things of. Oh God, I haven't touched this game since January. I'm forgetting the mechanic. But
no, it's
a mechanic
fine.
Where you could jump between battlegrounds.
Gank.
Gank. So there is a couple of those that do jump between. So it's going to be really nice to see how that works. If it does work with Lee Sin. I don't know how much it'll work because it is your champion. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Lee Sin art, all the arts look super good. Happy for the artists. The studios they have listed on there are really cool. Like, of course, you have the generic Arcane studio doing the Victor art, like everyone expected.
Right.
Yeah. Kudos Productions. I've seen them from Legend of Runeterra stuff. I don't know if they do anything else in the Riot IP. And some I never heard of, like Sugar Free. Never heard of them, but the Jinx art's awesome.
Yeah, the Jinx art's tight. Like that's. I'm now waiting for the Caitlyn piece.
Oh, give me Caitlyn, please. Give me my original waifu in League of Legends, please.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the announced but not shown secret rares. Cool. I'm willing to bet these are going to be like the waifu skins for League of Legends, where you have the standard, loose cannon Jinx that comes in the starter box that everyone's got access to. And then the secret rare is going to be like Jinx in a skin from League of Legends with like obviously alternate art, some alternate foiling, maybe like a different pattern. So it becomes very similar to the League of Legends video game where it's just cosmetic. You don't need the secret rare, but you really want that secret rare.
See, I agree and disagree at the same time. I don't think it's going to be alternate art in terms of like skin wise. Like, I don't think it's going to be like, Firecracker Jinx on the art. I think those will still be reserved for like promo cards to sell other forms of product or box stoppers.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is to me how TCG do it, but I don't doubt there's going to be some sick foiling, alternate foiling, maybe a little bit alternate art to it. Just not like a full blown skin. I mean, we got to see. I mean, you see all these TCGs now, like unique foiling isn't rare anymore. Like before, like One Piece rares or the manga rares or something so unique. It's not unheard of. White Schwartz with signatures on the card. Every TCG under the sun is now doing them.
Yeah.
So you have to have enough of a unique factor to it with enough of an altar. I mean, Gundam TCG now has that Wing Gundam that's like spread out, has like a very cool ink style effect.
Yeah.
That looks really awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bandai's altar game is just leagues above almost everyone at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And this is where it comes out also, what can the manufacturer do? I mean, you have two different manufacturers. You have to make sure it's a unison between the two, because if, say, the Universe manufacturer could do something, but the China one can't, it's going to be causing issues.
Right.
So you have to make sure that both manufacturers then duplicate the same efforts, and how much they're also willing to communicate on that effort too. Because you don't know if there's anything unique proprietary foiling to just say Universe cards and how they do their foiling. So it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of your alt arts. It's going to be, like I said, I hope for spot alt arts. Like Herald Arcane Victor has that ring above his head. Like, I just want that foil. Like, you can leave his face not foiled, but like just those letterings foil. Sure, go hard.
Yeah,
like I'm all for it.
Well, so, I think this is a great time to transition into the universes discussion, because that's a tricky topic. I don't hate universes. I want to be very frank. Like, I have no qualms with them as a company, but I've gotten some of their cards, and like their card stock's okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. My biggest concern is I have some Gen Con 2023 promos, some My Hero Academia promos, because I did some demos and I bought a playmat and some other stuff, because they have really cool art. I love their art. It's very, very neat. But those promos have almost curled into a ball, like a literal circle. So I'm not going to sell them. I'm not going to trade them. They're like, they just remind me of that Gen Con. But when I see people go, oh, hey, we're going to get universes, and I look at that card, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. I'm a little worried about this.
I mean, you're not alone. I mean, that was like I don't think universes. I don't play any of their IPs, because granted, I haven't seen any store around me that's selling universes cards. Like, but I have people that collect. I have people that collect the Soul Leveling, said they're not bad. They're sort of sick. Better than the My Hero Academia ones. They reworked some of their stuff.
Good.
But curling's still an issue with them, which is the most common issue with other companies with foils outside of Grand Archive, which I've shouted out before. Yeah, Pokemon. Pokemon's clean. Yeah, you're right. I literally have a Prime Catcher sitting on my desk that's been here since whatever set this came out in.
Yeah.
Just still flat.
Yeah.
Still perfectly flat. Not on anything, literally just chilling out in the open. And I live in New England, so we have humidity.
Yeah.
And
it's been figured out. Somebody did it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Universes does have that issue. And it's going to become, I don't know how many collectors will like it. Like, and that's the problem too. Like across, like that was the common theme across the board on Twitter and social media. A lot of people going, oh, you sure?
Yeah. Right.
Why? And again, nothing against universes. They just, from what I've heard, they don't have the best track history.
No.
But they're trying to rework it.
Question about Solo Leveling. So I've fallen in love with that show. You said, have you seen that show?
Yes, finished it. I finished Mawa, and I finished the anime.
Okay, good. We're not going to spoil anything, but okay, we're on the same page. Curiosity, since you've seen it and I haven't, what is the difference between the My Hero Academia cards and the Solo Leveling cards?
I heard, so I haven't seen it. I have a buddy who bought both of them. I'm going to try and pull up the thing in the meantime while I'm searching this up. But I think it had to do with the difference between the stock quality was a little bit different. Foiling was a little bit different. There was a couple of other things from just how they printed the foils, because you saw a little bit I think the Attack on Titan ones too had a little bit different of a flow process. Like I think they completely reworked, overhauled the whole thing when they finally left the My Hero Academia only type of thing.
Yeah.
Because they said Shining Soul cardstock quality is a little thicker than Universal Supply quality. Oh, Shining Souls. That is not. So the old MHA ones that have a trash quality, so the other ones are pretty different, is what he said.
Maybe I'll buy the starter deck because I love the show, but I want to touch the new cardstock and get a feel for it, because if they have updated their stuff, that's great. If they haven't, that's not great.
I think they have and haven't at the same time. So they have a running issue from what I've seen. I don't know if they fixed it. They claim it's part of it's a feature. So it could be true or not.
Oh, no.
That they do have the rolling lines. So the way the rolling print is when it's rolling through the ink, it's sort of when the ink ends and starts the new ink cycle. And you can sort of see that line transfer. And they claim it's a feature.
I don't know about that there, but
again, this is what I'm seeing from online. Don't fully quote me on it. They could have fixed everything by then because I don't have anything by them. But yeah, it's a little bit of an issue myself. And again, the only thing I have with them is not even print quality. It's the organized play system. I don't doubt they have a good organized play, but again, I haven't seen anything around them. I don't see them promoted anywhere up in my area. I don't like their Worlds was maybe 100 200 players for Worlds.
Yeah, I do know that there's a small community for the standard Universes game, which this is not. Yeah. It's just being published through the same company.
Yep. But I don't doubt they have their hands also into the organized play. Like there's no way that they're not taking a company like Universes and not trying to get their feedback on how do you build an organized play system for your TCG.
Right.
So I would take that with a grain of salt. I don't doubt they're not going to 100% run it. But as far as I know, I think it's going to be all right stuff. I don't think like judges and such will be provided by Universes. But I think they're still hashing out that detail.
Correct. My other concern is UVS just as a company in general. As far as I'm aware, I've done a little research, but they are not nearly as large as, say, Cardass, which is not a curse word, by the way. This is a family-friendly show. But like Cardass pumps out bajillions of cards for multiple companies. So the big concern, and I even saw it today on Twitter as well as the Discords, people are asking, Pokemon is suffering from a huge distribution supply and demand issue. How are you going to manage that with UVS? Because we all know they're not nearly as big as the established companies. And although League of Legends may not be as popular as Pokemon, it's still pretty darn popular. And regardless of popularity, anytime there's a brand new card game, everybody wants to try it. And then, people will come and go, and some will stay, some will leave. But the initial release is going to be hot because everyone's going to be talking about it. Trading card game companies are going to talk about it. Video game companies are going to talk about it. Anime collectors are going to talk about it. It will be one of the new hot games of 2025, if not the new hot game. Gundam is the only other one I'm thinking of that might compete for that slot. So there's going to be an absurd amount of demand. And you're telling us this company that's probably a medium-sized company. I don't think they're small, but they're not large. They're going to be the ones processing the United States printing. Can they handle it? And there's been no response to that. And it's like, whoa.
So Googling off of PitchBook, UVS Games has 35 employees. Just for some context. Yes, just for some context.
Oh, Lord.
I will say they do have a big distribution pool. So their current games go through ACD, Alliance, GTS, Asmodee, PhD, so Peach Hobby distribution, and Southern Hobby. So pretty much they hit all like 4 of the main distros.
Yeah.
Which I don't doubt Pokemon do as well. They have 4 in Canada, 1 in Latin America, 4 in Europe, and 2 in Oceania.
Okay.
But like you said, this is gonna be the hot TCG this season. We're in a current market again of scalpers running rampant in TCGs. And I'm more concerned, like, okay, so how are you going to choose your allocation numbers? Because new CGs are always hard with that. Pokemon, sometimes you have a history, you have your Pokemon Master, right? Pokemon Professor, sorry. Pokemon Professor, become official store, you get set allocation minimum because of it. And then because you get other things that work, events. So, okay, you get set allocation. Same with Magic, same with other TCGs. But now you have something brand new coming to market. So small stores are going to get screwed on this is going to be the concern. Granted, don't get me wrong, Dave Tron has said they want to make this scalper preventative as possible, which means probably printing it into the ground and making it cheap. Like, I know
what
that
I
was going
secretly
to go
hope?
the Pokemon route.
Okay, you'll probably hate and love this. I secretly hope that if you have a Riot account, you get premier access to buy.
I mean,
like
I don't
like
doubt
an
that
established. Like if you've been playing, like you have an account longer than 3 to 6 months, because everyone's gonna try and flood the market with creating a Riot account, and mine's from like beta. So it's like, if you have a long-term Riot account, we'll let you buy first. Like, oh, so you're rewarding people who are in the ecosystem? Rah! Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, they did say, I could be misquoting this because this was like 2 hours ago. He did say something about trying to find a good way for players to buy the product.
Yeah.
Like, I don't doubt there's something. Riot has their own store too. Riot could sell it through their own store.
Yeah.
For MSRP.
Yep.
So I don't doubt that will happen. I don't doubt they're going to do everything in their power to try and make it cheap. They said they don't want the competitive to be more than like $200 to $300. This is back like January.
Yeah.
They don't want decks to be uber expensive. So I don't doubt they're going to try and go Pokemon out and print it to the ground. Granted, it doesn't secure your alternate art cards. There's like Pokemon alternate arts are so much. That's why people scalp them. But I don't doubt base decks will still be dirt cheap, which, I mean, sucks. You have to go that way if you want to collect certain things.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is what it is.
They're saying all the right words, which gets me excited. That's the good thing. So talking about decks being $200 to $300 tops, that's great for players. And now we've started to see the things that collectors are going to want. And they've already hinted at the secret rares, which I'm sure there's more than just that because they're smart. If anyone knows how to sell swag, Riot is one of the top dogs. Riot and Disney in my brain are really good at selling you stuff you don't need, but you really want because it's just really cool. So
I didn't buy the Arcane sweatshirt. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about either. But I'm firmly confident that there's more going on that they haven't announced because they're going to drip feed it so people get excited. Because they said the Chinese release is summer and they didn't say American. They said English versions are going to be rolled out in fall. So that would...
Is it fall? I think 2025.
I thought they said fall 2020. So Q3, Q4 2025.
Okay, which makes sense. I mean, I think it's still an aggressive timeline. Super aggressive.
It is, especially from our last episode. But when they didn't say America specifically, I'm going to assume we can assume that Canada, America, Europe, maybe.
Yeah, probably some parts of Europe. They don't. I think they supposed to not have any timeline for Australia for 2025 because someone asked about Australia. Yeah, so I think it's still 2026.
Yeah, but they also conveniently said whatever areas we don't hit in 25, we'll have a rollout in 26. So they never actually said America. They just said English speaking zones, countries. They said something. So it is possible we don't see it this year. I think we will see it this year, but they covered their bases very well mastered.
I wonder if they do, not in terms of product, but they pull a Star Wars and their organized play system is delayed to 2026.
Okay, so as someone who's been on both sides of that coin where you're like a competitive player and then you just play for fun, I would prefer them to do it right and delay it than push it out and it sucks.
I personally think, again, no issues with Riot. Again, probably still killing all my things of future content creating and casting. Just from a competitive player speaking, I don't doubt this is going to be a rough launch. Right.
Oh yeah.
Like can they probably hand on the back end? Sure. But I don't doubt set 1 is going to be a little brutal. Set 2, probably everything will be fixed by.
Yeah.
But I mean, we also got to remember this was originally a Chinese based only game. All of a sudden there was a bunch of support in English and they're like, oh crap, we got to make it in English.
Yeah.
So now we're making it in English. And things are suffering in parts, I think, because of that. Right. I would like to see them delay organized play. I think it's fine. Let everyone understand the game, at least have your local organized play system built. Have that built from the ground up. First off, give me a web client like Flesh and Blood, Gem, Grand Archive, Omnidex. Best 2 systems ever used. Please give me that in Riot Games. Like, I'm tired of paper sheets. Fully tired of it. And
you're not wrong.
Give me the organized play system built from the ground up, and then let us run at it for a little bit, and then come out with the organized play, because they also want to ramp up to global release in terms of synergized. There's no delay between like, oh, China's now in set 2 or set 3, we're just now getting set 2. They want to synchronize release.
Same thing with Gundam. They're going to stop doing Japan gets it 3 months early, and then the US gets it, and we're like, why would we buy product? We know what singles to buy. It's cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. And which is great, I think, and that'll help with the organized play system. So it's why even more I would like them to delay organized play for that same exact reason, because I don't want to go play something and then have the meta solved by the time the next set comes out into going into a big tournament.
Right.
To take sort of the fun out of it. So hopefully it's delayed for that as well.
I think going back to your point about like local organized play, I feel like they could do something easy where they could have like an alternate art print or an alternate foil, like something simple that they've already got, that they just change a mechanic. Maybe they put a stamp on it, like, 2025, whatever. And so let's speculate for a little bit. Very likely, it comes out Q3, Q4. If I had to guess, especially with that aggressive timeline you were talking about, they probably launched this at like either end of November, right around Black Friday, when everyone's spending a ton of money, or they make it like a holiday, like December launch, and it's going to be like, it will be the game to buy because you can buy that starter set for your family and they can play it during the Christmas holiday.
When was the last time we've had a TCG launch that late in the year, though?
It's not often.
Like, I feel like if anything, it'll be October.
It could be.
Like start of the quarter.
It's very possible. I'm just thinking of like, usually holiday sales are so hot that if they need the time to get their stuff together, they could do a Q4 holiday release, kind of like a video game console, and everyone will just flock to it out of excitement. Also because everyone's got money saved up to blow on Christmas gifts and stuff for themselves. So that's not a bad time to sell, but because people are going to be so busy with, travel and holiday and all that stuff, you don't have to worry as much about having a local organized play kit until January of 2026, because people aren't really going to be going to their local game stores nearly as much just due to the holiday craziness. Whether that's true or not, I could foresee them saying, OP starts in 2026, release is end of 2025. Here's some time to learn the game, play the game, have fun with your family and friends. And then at the start of the year, we're going to kick off strong and go support your local game store. I could see that.
I mean,
whether it happens or not.
Yeah, I mean, we're not even thinking about the flip side of this too. Like, this is just counting just Riot Games only being printed by this distributor. This distributor has their own two TCGs, Star Trek and Universes.
Yep.
And they've recently partnered with Kado Games and Fireside Games to do their distribution.
Yeah.
So 35-man squad, I don't know how much manpower they're going to have to print things out to a high capacity for that timeline as well, which is going to be a little concerning.
And we could see a weird, pure speculation, we could see a weird staggered release where they do the starter set first, and then the booster boxes 2026.
Which I think is fine. I'm also curious too if they pull, because this is all pure speculation, because Magic does their in-stock standard rotation. It's like almost print to demand. Like, this forever print this set. I really wonder if this will be the same way. If, hey, set 1 or print until everyone's sick of it, and stores have a couple extra on their shelves, like another way to combat scalpers because it's forever printing it.
Yeah.
I
if
think
they were to announce that would save so much stress for both the consumer and the store, because you're a store manager. So not only are you a player, but you have to micromanage the entire process of ordering, shipping, fulfilling, dealing with customers once you sell out, if you sell out. Like, there's so much more on your plate than mine because I'm going to play it. You have to do all the business stuff.
Yeah. Armo has a fight with everything in the world, but no. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how they handle that, because, I mean, it's a good way to combat scalpers too. Like, Pokemon's issue where right now they can't print enough, or if Riot Games changing this to also combat scalpers, because stuff's going to drop because people can wait, and especially if they also delay the organized play system on top of it, people aren't fiending for cards because they know more's coming down the pipeline. There's no tournament, so they don't have to worry about anything like that of the sorts, and they could just have everything already set and catch up, and all the production and manufacturing catch up. Granted, I don't know where Universe's printing is. I don't know if any of the tariffs or anything going to hit any of this, but we're not going to talk political here. But I mean, that's also a fear with the tariffs of how people get their manufacturing prices could raise because of all that stuff, but that's other things.
Yeah.
But people are, I mean, it's going to help in the long run. I can't wait to hear announcements behind that. I can't wait for a spoiler season. I know they sort of leaked that they're going to talk to content creators about spoiling cards, possibly. So yeah. Hey, they were posted in their Discord. Yeah, I mean, I would like one. I mean, I'm probably going to be pushing Universe's. I'm not Universe's God, because I'm looking at Universe's website in front of my face. Riftbound hard. It's honestly probably a spark that's going to get me back into more content creation, because this is exciting news. It's always hard when we talk about beta games, right?
Yeah.
There's only so much news in the world you talk about beta game. Shocked some people are doing tournaments for beta Gundam. Don't even get me started on it. Like, you guys are running like 80 card pool. What's going on?
No. You have a webcam, right?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. We should jam some games when Riftbound hits.
Oh, 100%. I'll be grinding on this and Tabletop Sim. Like, Tabletop Sim, I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, me too. I would love to jam some TTS games. Oh man, that's gonna be so much fun. Also, I'm really interested to see what they do with the like official rules, because so far it's been kind of like I don't know what the word is. They're learning, they're adapting. You might have a better take on this.
It's pretty much a living rule system at this point. I mean, they recently did a poll a month ago. They brought a bunch of Magic pros into the house. Like Brian Kibler was there recently.
Oh,
as they're trying to hush out the rules, because like, what does on attack and on defend mean to you? Where in Riftbound, there's really no quote unquote on attack or on defend. That was being argued. It's like, yeah, but when you move to a battle zone, you're not technically on attack. Like, if there's a unit there technically, but you're battling, but it's not really an attack trigger because battle happens simultaneously.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ruling clarification needing as pros are finding. Like, oh, what does this mean? What does this mean? When does this trigger? Which they're being proactive about. They're hashing it out. I heard they already sent a rule system over to China, I think.
Okay.
And they're looking at it themselves to help hash out things. So it's getting there. Just, I'm hoping sooner rather than later so I could grind. Well, no, I say that I can't grind games. It's a beta set. There's not enough cards. Right. There's literally not enough cards. But grind
once
stuff
we get
on
enough, we'll grind some games all day, every day. I will happily play this. But yeah, so I'm kind of in the same boat as you were. Once we recorded that conversation in January, I just kind of took a step back because I played maybe like 20 or 30 games, and I started to realize there's just too much unknown. The card pool is too small, and like every third day, something we had established as a rule changed, and so everything we knew had just kind of gone to the trash can. Yep. So I don't enjoy testing like that because I want to basically gain data points that are true, not sometimes true, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why I think people are still like not fully grinding. I think content creation across the board sort of slowed down on Riftbound for that same reason. Yeah. I get some people making some like, talking about the Timo China promo and such, which was cool. But there wasn't really too much testing or deck building or like gameplay vids because there's still too many unknowns and what rules.
I don't think we had a game. I still don't think we have a game yet. We have like the pieces of a game.
You have a game when you have the dev sit next to you to clarify stuff, but when you're playing on your own versus someone, not so much.
Right. Right.
Just to make games, like, how do we want this to work? I don't know. I was like, well, it works like this in other TCGs, and that was like our baseline. Like it works like X and Y, Z, W TCG. So I guess we'll treat it that way here until we hear otherwise. And then we kind of like, no, that's wrong. It's like, okay, well, there's no ruling in the rule book otherwise stating.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like probably by May we'll have actual rules and enough cards we could kind of sort of jam out. There's a lot of speculation as to where Riftbound is going to be, because they said they're going to be at conventions in 2025. So obviously the first one that comes to mind is Gen Con. I think that's a pretty safe bet. And then Everyone else is guessing as to where it could be. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, what conventions could we see Riot outside of the pretty comfortably safe bet of Gen Con?
I mean, it depends on the market they're targeting, because you can always show up to like Anime New York or Comic Con New York or Anime Ball. Like you show up to any of those anime themed big ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still have like the California one space too, still upcoming. I could be wrong. Like Anime Expo. Like they could, if that's their target, then yes, they can show up at those. Because you do have the Arcane version of the cards. Those are fans who watch Arcane are probably gonna be at these Anime Expo or anime conventions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where you want to be. Otherwise, it's just probably going to be Gen Con. I don't know where else there's really TCG unless you go to like overseas. There's a couple of them.
So what's at Gamescom?
Gamescom's just generic like trading card games. Like Universe is there. There's people announcing news. Like I think there was a new Naruto TCG spinoff. Like not Naruto itself, a different IP, but with the Naruto TCG rules that Bandai made forever ago.
Uh-huh.
I don't doubt we're going to see MetaZoo there. You're going to see probably like everyone announcing their trading card game or upcoming board games. It's pretty much like the convention for board gaming hobby.
Right.
So I don't doubt we're going to see a bunch of things there. I don't doubt they're going to be there. But again, they might not be, because this all comes also that rule system. If they don't have enough rule system to demo it fully, we might not see that. But I could be wrong. I mean, they demoed it at a TFT event with very base rules. So could be wrong. Could be 100% wrong.
Well, and it's a lot faster for them to say, come up with. So let's look at Gen Con as a potential event. So let's say they have a rule set, which they should easily be able to tighten down by that point to show people. And then what? Maybe 20 demo deck team. So when I say a demo deck, I mean enough for two people. So maybe they could run like 40 to 80 games at a given moment. And then, you play a couple rounds, maybe get like 15, 20 minutes, and then you get kicked out, you get a promo, and then they have the next person's. Because I'm thinking of Star Wars Unlimited. When they went to market at Gen Con, they had a small think I think they had maybe 100, 120 people, and they had two little half decks. You had, I think it was like 20 minutes, and then you have a staff member kind of watching you and guiding you. And then once the game is over, or you get to a point where it's clearly just so one-sided, they go, cool, thanks for playing. Here's your, Star Wars Unlimited promo. And then they kick you out and refill with the next person. And everything was a free ticket, or maybe it was like $1. I don't remember, but it was all ticketed. So they knew exactly who would be playing, when they would be playing. And I think I got like 3 or 4 demos. Like it wasn't hard to get the demos because they're running them so frequently. But in terms of just product they needed on the tables, it wasn't that much. And it was all printed in house, and they had stickers saying, this is not the final artwork, this is not the final card stock, this is just a demo deck. So I could see Riot do something like that where they just cycle through, because think about it, if you have 100 people playing every 20 minutes, that's 300 people an hour. You're open for 10 hours. That's a lot of people you can get through in 5-6 days.
100%. That's a lot of people you can get through with that amount of days. I mean, especially I'm more curious what they're gonna do for promos. If they do promos, I imagine there's usually most people who go to these conventions have the promos for their stuff.
Yeah,
which is pretty exciting to see. And then I think they're gonna cycle through a lot. They have devs there to help rules, and games can go pretty quickly depending on the decks. Like you just take a couple of aggro decks and jam them into each other.
Yeah.
So you might be able to see a couple different things with that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to think. Like, it really just comes down to how flushed out there, how many people they can have there, or how much they're to be trying to worry about the production at that point, and everything else in the pipeline. But I mean, Gamma is probably going to be your safest bet, though. I think Gamma is. Oh God, when is not Gamma?
No, Gamma already happened.
Yeah, Gamma already happened. Sorry, I was looking up a list of conventions, and Gamma and Gaming X, it's like same thing, sort of same title.
PAX? Yeah. PAX Unplugged?
No way they can do PAX Unplugged. I don't think so. PAX hasn't been a big TCG vendor friendly in a while. PAX as a whole has, from what I've seen, gotten away with less big names and more indie people.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think it'll show up at PAX. I mean, they could, but I don't know how much they want to fly out to California, from California to Pennsylvania, because if it's still in Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's in Philly.
Yeah, in Philly again, which is right now in November, which, I mean, it also comes on the timeline. Like, so PAX Unplugged is in November. Games already released. They don't really have to be at PAX Unplugged. At that point, they're probably going to be too busy trying to figure out everything else going on, production, reprints, etc.
True.
So we might see, I would say anything before October is going to be your major hit points, which I don't know what we have outside of like anime ones. And
yeah,
that's going to be
Gen Con.
Yeah, like it's going to be basically what's your target audience, where are you targeting? But we just don't know what could be out of the convention. They're going in like other places. Like I know that they're going to do some in like China and that area to promote the game over there. So you might see some stuff there. I mean, we just had the Chinese Timo promo like we talked about.
Yeah.
So there might be doing a couple different things there. But I don't know. We have to really see because I don't even think they have a listed. They haven't listed anything.
Do you think they would do Collecticon like MetaZoo did?
I don't think so. I think it's a different market. MetaZoo was targeted for collectors.
That's true.
I don't know about the rebrand of MetaZoo, but MetaZoo was very targeted to collectors, and I don't think Riot Games wants to go that way yet. And I say yet because no TCG can live without their collector base secondary as well. Like
correct.
Every TCG has collectors. It's got to be a healthy balance, and they'll have to hit the point eventually, which is why I think they're doing the secret rare, quote unquote, legends and such.
Yeah,
get to make opening packs and chasing worth it. And
so, over the weekend, MetaZoo was at the Collecticon in Florida, and they were selling. I believe I might be wrong, but I saw that they were doing giveaways. You could buy booster boxes, and then they were doing random giveaways for the alternate art booster box art. I don't really care about that, but basically this last weekend was like the progenitor of the start of MetaZoo 2. So
which has some amazing art, by the way. I wasn't a fan before, but new MetaZoo has good art.
Yeah, the new MetaZoo actually looks really good. One of these episodes, I want to talk to you about MetaZoo in your shop because I can't get a beat on it, but we're getting off track. Because, anyways,
I can sum it up for you. Never happened. No one interested.
Fair enough. Great, that was easy. So I guess we're trying to solve a puzzle of like the Riot team said they're going to be going to cons. We can very, very safely assume Gen Con. Everybody goes to Gen Con. It is the biggest gaming event of the year. It would be crazy if they didn't show at Gen Con. Even if they just had a booth with like fake product, like demo product you can look at, nothing to sell, maybe a small demo to play, but just missing that opportunity would be a big whiff, I think. But they said cons, which means multiple. So now the question is, what are the other potential things? Would Riot, you might know this better than me, would Riot throw their own Riftbound event? Because they've done TFT and other games.
I think there's a little bit different. And if we're talking about cons, that's a little bit different. Like I was about to say, I wonder how much they saying cons might be like, oh, their LCS North America qualifier or something like that. Like their actual like LAN events. They might have stuff there with it. But I don't think we want to see Riot Con or something like that. I don't think we want to see BlizzCon equivalent from Riot Games.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So I will have to see. Sorry, wife texted me that my computer part arrived, so I'll grab that after.
Oh, great! What'd you get?
Computer case. I'm literally rebuilding my whole new PC because my GPU is dying. So
I bet you're having so much fun with that.
Oh, I am, especially when I had to fight for a 9070 for my life.
Fair enough. What case did you get?
The Hyatt Y71.
I love those. I'm actually looking at getting one myself. I have a Lee that's great. But I mean, I think we both bought that case when it was super popular, like 8 years ago?
Yeah, probably about that. It was the first time, it was the first real good design, like full plexiglass, good wire cabling at the time.
Yeah. So my case has seen better days. She's old. She's looking kind of busted up a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't lost the back paneling for the GPU slots go. I swear I haven't lost those covers.
Oh, no, mine are I don't know where those are. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many great things about PC building. Anyways, we're getting off track again, which is what we do here. Let's talk about tournaments. So we know that there's nothing announced as of yet. Real talk. Do you think we're actually going to see like a legitimate tournament in 2025? And I'm not counting for like the traditional Gen Con starter deck or like limited kind of, not that. I'm talking about like an actual constructed tournament,
like regional level, like big event outside of locals.
Correct. Yeah. Do you think it could happen? Like logistically?
China, yes. English, no.
Oh, because they start in like 2 months. Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. I think China can easily do it. Also, population density and such make it a little bit easier. Yeah. English will be questionable because you still have to work with universes. Now, here's the weird question.
Okay.
If universes is part of their play, how much do they pull like a Star City Games and they bundle? So you're going to the event for either Riftbound or universes.
Oh, you mean like so instead of a universes world tournament, it's like a UVS tournament where it's Riftbound and universes and
you pick which one you're showing up for. Yeah.
Where's universes or UVS? Where are they based out of? What state?
Google Machine Games. Location.
Thanks,
Nevada.
Oh, whereabouts?
Paradise, Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, they could do a Vegas. Vegas is pretty easy to get in and out of.
I don't doubt that could be the first one, or like Worlds or Nats. Yeah, I mean they do have announced like they have an Auburn, New Mexico, and a Chelmsford regional for universes in April and May. So they do their traveling. Granted, they're small in terms of, but like how much more do you have to expand your size if you do something like that? And that's gonna be the other question too. Who depends on who's play? Like if Riot Games run it, like okay, so you have to have Riot employees there. So that's going to be a whole other thing and a half. Like most of these teachers have their employees with
PPG, someone like that.
Please no.
But I mean, I'm just using them as a name because they're one of the more forefront names. I would prefer someone else, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't doubt like the only one. I mean, Universal themselves or Riot do themselves honestly will probably be easier.
You want an internal.
Yeah, I'd rather do it internal, less you have to worry about. I mean, we've seen all the third-party issues in scalping. Like, we've seen all the issues with the third-party people at this point. I don't want it anymore. But also because if you do internal, it gives you the chance to, you run your big event, and then end of it, you have your closing announcements. You can start announcing your stuff internally. You can build the hype in your own event to other things that come up down the pipeline.
Okay.
Like, you'd be like, oh, look, hey, look, we finished this event. Hey, look, here's set 3 spoilers just for you guys or something like that, or set 3 announcement and something like that. So it builds up the hype and it helps a little bit. I mean, they've shown they're very community driven. Dave Tron, Sarah, I'm pretty sure her name is Sarah. I am so sorry if that is not your name. I'm going off the top of my head and I apologize fully if you're listening to this. CC, like all of them are super interactive with their community, where it's why I think it's even better if you do it internally. Like they're so interactive and so upfront with what they're doing that I think having it internal will be even bigger and better for them as a whole.
Yeah. I've loved, so like I've been to some world events with like Fantasy Flight Games, and that's all internal. Those have been great. I've been to some worlds where it's run by third party, and they're not as good because it's not as personal. So I do agree. I would absolutely prefer Riot to have full control over everything, because at that point you get to actually interact with the company as a whole versus the middleman, I guess is a good way of explaining it.
And it also gives me hope for a better tournament system, like a better organized play, versus going PPG. All right, we're going to use best with pairings. Oh, we're going to use whatever. We're going to use X, Y, Z.
Melee.
Like, we have a universal system of where tournaments are hosted out of, versus trying to find out each different things and wait in a queue. And it's just it's a mess. Those other ones. So it's why I'm even more hoping internal, because then they could develop their own stuff. You can link it to your Riot ID. You can have stuff linked to you. Oh my God, link it with my Riot ID, please.
Please, yeah.
Please.
Please. I already have it. It's already on my computer.
Give me everything I need for it. Because then it also gives you the hope too, if they keep internal. You could do, as people would really die hard like myself, because Legend of Terra, an internal, like an online client or an online play system. Like there's the hope for that.
Like DCI, like a ranking.
Yeah. Like probably won't happen, but not even that, just online client. So instead of TTS Sim, you have what was Lorcana's for that fan made one?
Pixelborn.
Pixelborn?
Yeah.
Like a Pixelborn equivalent.
Yeah.
But
awesome. Official.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like Eternals. What's their name?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, hired them and did their own official one.
Yeah,
and I think that helps. I mean, granted, you might not make a lot of money, but if you make enough money off TCG, like I think it'll help people practice and everything like that of the sort. Expand it. It's like how people will find it's pretty much you treat it as an advertising system.
Well, and the other thing is it's easy to create content on a digital platform and then push it out, which then gets more eyes on the product. So yeah, digital clients are kind of critical to the success of a game.
Yeah, Shadow versus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping that's even more what I want internal because then you could develop stuff like that more and more along the line. And it's sort of where in the world I'm really hoping for us to end up in being in. Granted, it might not happen at all. It might not happen. I mean, it could be wishful thinking at this point, but a man can dream.
Well, especially if the game is focused on multiplayer, being able to play the game online and analog in person makes the experience that Riot is trying to procure a lot easier because you don't have to have multiple people at the same time available at your local game store. You can just go on the internet and people worldwide are ready, and you can easily get into a room, play a game, have some fun. And if you want to rinse, wash, and repeat, that's why I like Magic Arena so much is I can play Magic anytime I want. Literally any second of any given day, there is someone waiting to play.
Yeah. And even though, granted, if they do this, Legendary Terror is officially dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's no
need. Gone.
They're dead at that point. No need to. That team would be enveloped at some point.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm so excited. It looks good. It sounds good. Now we just have to wait and see what they do, really.
Yeah, I mean, the upside that the pain points are being addressed.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest part. They didn't sit, they are addressing part of it. Now, the next pain point is distribution and organized play, which they're already working on organized play. They don't want to speak about foiling yet for distribution, which is fair. But that's where we're going to be waiting on now, pretty much, is just waiting to see what happens to that and how a questionable, I'm going to say questionable because of their feedback, manufacturer handles something that is going to be way bigger than any project they've handled so far. Like, alone project, Riftbound alone will probably triple their base numbers of any universe set.
Yeah.
And it's going to be curious how they handle that type of growth. So you will have to see.
This is such a weird place to be because there's a lot of questions, but we have a lot of answers, and the answers are really good so far.
100%. There's a lot of good answers. There's a lot of things that are looking super good, and it's just we're just in that weird waiting period. We really are, and just waiting for all that to just come together and see what we get.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I do think we're on the right track.
Oh, 100%. Like I said, I was dead on this game for a little bit, and now like the new art has got me re-hyped because I was dead because there was a lot of questions. And they had a lot of conversation about what they're doing in the back end, but couldn't get details. I'm like, okay, well, I have to wait because you're not giving me enough to make me hyped. And now it's really just like, now I'm hyped. Now you're showing me things progressive that make me excited as a player, a collector, owner, like to invest into this game and not assume it's dead on arrival. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like, look at so many games that are coming out that are probably going to be suffering initially, like MetaZoo 2. I don't know what that's going to do. Rush of Icor from what's Upper Deck? My bad.
Yeah. I mean, not even upcoming. Imagine the ones just in July alone. July, you have Gundam. July, you have Hololive TCG, which is going to be insanely popular, just on release.
Yeah.
You have Godzilla English for some reason coming out in July. Like, then you have the current release. You still have Flesh Blood set coming out in May or something. Like, you have everything else comes. Like, there's so many released alone in July. Like, I think shout out to Boy Cosmic because he posted a gigantic list of all the upcoming TCGs, and it's huge. And I think like 90% of them are dead on arrival. And no lack of their own, I don't doubt they're going to be good TCGs, but now you're fighting literally like 40 other TCGs at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know who's making it out of it. Like, I don't know how you're going to make it out of, because you have, like you're saying, Imagination, Warlords, Godzilla, Metazoo, V-Card, which recently released, Oshi Push, Cookie Run TCG, which is huge in Korea, apparently, Rush of Ichor, Riftbound, Hololive, Gundam, Digital Bonus, Shadowverse is getting their rework in digital. Like, man, that's a lot of cardboard.
on top of the established games already fighting for market share.
Yeah, like I don't know how many of these things just make it out alive and without like just not dead because of there's not enough time or money to go around.
Right.
It's just not enough. Like then you start the fight, like you said, with One Piece. You're still going to go ahead and fight with Magic, Flesh and Blood,
Pokemon.
Yu-Gi-Oh, Lorcana, Pokemon. Oh God, what else is there even out right now? Star Wars Unlimited.
I mean, Star Wars Unlimited. You've got Digimon, all the Bandai games.
Digimon, Shadowverse, English, which is still pretty dead in my opinion.
Universes.
Yeah, technically universes. Technically sorcery, not really competitive, but they still come out with sets that people buy into.
Yeah.
God, I'm like
Altered.
That's right. Altered, which I'm still 50-50 on personally, but I hear good things about it. Then you have Grand Archive in that list as well. Then you sit there and have Vanguard, you have Dragon Ball,
Union
you have
Arena,
Final Fantasy TCG, Union Arena, like, oh man, and you throw out like 11 more TCGs on top of this? Ooh. Okay. Wish you luck. It's going to be a brutal world. Like the reason why Riftbound and Gundam are going to come out of this because Gundam has Bandai backing and Riftbound is we're going to have Riot Games backing where there's at least a dedicated system to Riot Games. Like, I don't know if Hololive will make it out. Like, it will in a sense because it's still Bushiroad and still people like their VTubers, but it's not going to be huge. It's going to be enough to survive. But,
were you around in the 90s when we had this problem when every like TV show and game had a TCG of some sort?
Nope, because I was born in 94.
Oh, never mind. I'm old. So back in the day, there was like if there was a TV show or a kid show, there was a trading card game. So you have like the Xiaolin Showdown trading card game and the Mega Man, the Game Boy Advance, the Mega Man NT trading card game, and like Chaotix and so on and so forth. And there was just a infinite amount of trading card games on top of Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Naruto was hot at that time. And I'm old enough to see it happen a second time, and it's like, boy, we've been here before. And usually the ones that stand firm are obviously the big three. They're not going anywhere. And then it's either something that's really well managed by a brand. So, you know, you've got Gundam, Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited, Riftbound, because those are strong brands. And then the other thing that stood the test of time was something that was like super hot. So like the Naruto trading card game is a great example because that game is dead, but at that time Naruto was like the thing, and that popularity carried it past all the millions of cards that were being printed that are just dead today.
Yeah, I mean, to even add to that, literally a YouTuber I watch says, "Oh, I have trading cards come out." I'm like, "Oh my god, why? Why are you coming out with trading cards?"
Don't say skippity toilet. I'll ban you.
No, here, I'll dox them. Real Silver Engineer. I watch them because their content was funny back then because he's still working as an actual engineer. So they play like bridge games, stuff like that. And they were entertaining. Okay. And then they come out like recently, like, I'm making my own trading card game. It's like, but why? There's so many. Like, who's your market?
Yeah.
Like, who are you selling to? Is that you actually come out with competitive ruling, or are you just making like actual collectible cards, like literally baseball cards?
Yeah.
There are, because baseball cards are technically trading cards. Like, I don't know. It's too many. There's way too many. We're hitting a weird overabundance, and we're about to see a huge market crash again because of it.
I hear that burnout in your voice, and yeah, I know how you feel. However, as you know, collectors and players, that's usually a great time to pick up cards because the market crashes, everything just falls apart, and things tank out. It's like stocks. You buy them cheap, and then eventually the market rebuilds, and then they shoot back up again. It's like, cool, I bought these for pennies on the dollar, and now they're worth, $20-$30 because the market's kind of averaged out.
Yeah.
And you're good to go.
I mean, we'll see at this point. I mean, we really will see, because my bigger concern is more on the distribution side and manufacturing. want anything else? Because I mean, distributions are already a mafia ring, and they want to make it even worse with multiple TCGs. Like I don't doubt you want to buy Riftbound, go ahead and go buy Imagination on top of it, just to fill, like, take our dead product. Like I don't doubt that becoming an issue, and with so many TCGs, it's going to become an even bigger issue of dead product, which makes me fearful.
That's an interesting conversation about distributors forcing you to, you buy Riftbound, but in order to buy Riftbound, you have to take, dead product that they can't sell, and now you have the burden of selling it because they offloaded it onto you, because that was the deal. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's kind of shady.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm mostly fearful of, and I don't doubt it's going to happen to Riftbound. I'm not ready for Riftbound to go buy 10 cases. Like, not buy another 800 product and other former product that isn't a premium product, and just so you can get your order. It's like, okay.
However, if distributors try and strong arm you into doing that, game stores probably won't do it because they can't afford. Like, you can't afford to buy Riftbound that you sell and then you sit on dead product for months and then you have to discount it and you lose money.
You say that, but it's been happening for years. It's like the basic.
I know.
Thing. I mean, granted, we have GameStop happening now. GameStop alone can afford to do it. GameStop's literally a TCG store.
I don't even know.
Coming to a GameStop near you.
I don't even know what's up with that. Yeah, GameStop's getting weird. I don't know what they are anymore. I don't know if they know what they are.
I mean, it didn't shock me when it started on Pokemon. It didn't shock me. It's a whole other racketeering market they can get into because no one's buying used games anymore. And they're realizing how much of a hot market trading cards are.
Yeah, trading cards have become hot.
And they're so big that they don't have to worry about the distro issue because they're so big and multi-chained across the United States.
It's true. It's very true.
Like, they can flat out buy in bulk pallets of product for all their stores.
I still haven't bought anything from GameStop.
I mean, my GameStop closed in my town like 10 years ago.
I can't remember the last time I've been to a GameStop. In all honesty, it's been a lifetime.
Yeah, never. Like, I can't even tell you. It's horrible at this point. But
I mean, I worked for them for a while, part-time. It was one of my favorite jobs ever, but this was like 2010s. This is a long time ago.
Back when people were chill and you can go to a midnight release for a video game and stand out in line. And
that was great. So much fun.
You just go out and walk out of there with free swag. Go out and say, yo, can I take this poster after? Go, yeah, when we take it down. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up with my Halo 3 poster.
Oh, dude, I'm looking at posters. I've got a Pokemon Sun and Moon. I've got BioShock, Call of Duty. I have so many GameStop posters. But like, I'll put it like this. I love that job so much. I actually enjoyed working Black Friday. And I think we had to get to that store like 2 a.m. to prep because we opened at like 4 or something. Oh, and that's one of like my favorite memories of working retail. It was just so fun. It was great. And you don't hear that very often for Black Friday.
For real. Nowadays, I imagine that Black Friday is murderous.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But like at that point, like everyone was chill. People wanted to talk about games. We had snacks, and it was just, people hanging out, enjoying the gaming hobby. Like, it was just that simple. I miss those days.
Not that right.
Good times. All right, last question, and then we can get on out of here. What do you think? Like, overall, we got a bunch of news. We've talked for an hour and change. But like, what's your gut feeling? Because you've got a great pulse on not only the gaming scene, but the business side of things as well, since you help manage a local game store. So what do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you need more information? Like, what's your feeling here so far?
I think I need alt-art information, organized play information. And like what they're like, I need distro numbers. I need distribution information is the major thing. Because I don't doubt I have people on my LGS possibly interested into it. Granted, it's probably most of my One Piece crowd more than my Magic crowd. But it's a mix of, but you have to get them away from that ecosystem already. Get them away from that IP to like, on top of, make it worth it playing. Like, people will play One Piece, but it's also One Piece has the most insane prize pool cards you can ask for right now. Like, insane. And getting people into that is going to be a little bit harder to deal with. I don't doubt it's going to sell a decent amount if they fix up the rules and at a point where the gameplay loop is great. And that's going to be like where I think that's where we're at. It's mostly comes down to distribution. How much as a store do I have to order? How much is in a case? What's the MSRP? What's the rip specifically like how many secret rares a box or something like that. What's our ratios? And like I don't know if I'm making money off the singles market. I don't know. It's like it's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, one more question before we get on out of here. What do you think the booster box is going to look like? Because I've seen a lot of these Japanese booster boxes where you get less cards, less packs, but the box is cheaper and it feels more fun to buy more like Japanese product is what I'm thinking about. So like for example, Lorcana Japanese booster boxes are $40, but you get like a third. But if you bought 3 Japanese booster boxes, it's still cheaper than an American booster box. But if you don't need as much product out of a booster box, you can only buy 1 or 2. Like I'm thinking of like Yu-Gi-Oh as well. Like it's a smaller size box, but the price is lower. So you don't feel as bad if you drop, $50-$60 on a booster box versus, $120, $140. It's like, woo, that adds up real quick.
I mean, I think booster boxes will probably be in the 100 range. If they want to keep it out cheap, they're talking about probably 12 to 15 cards a booster pack. Okay. I can't see how you go less if you want to keep that price point down. Now, the thing is, we're doing how many rares, like what you're getting. I imagine a rare at least probably in every pack.
Oh, yeah.
Like at least. The question is, how many do you have a foil slot that can also be replaced? So I know, like, wasn't it Magic originally that, or no, there was one other TG, like your rare slot could be replaced by like a foil or something like that. And it was like sort of feels bad. Like as long as you have like an uncommon slot that could be replaced by like a foil rare or double hit, or like that last uncommon slot could be anything.
Yeah.
At a pure chance. Cool. That's going to help keep your prices down. Cause Pokemon, you have the one big hit in the back, but you can also get like some of the cards, I think, that are like in regular non-foil, reverse foil. So I think at least 12 to 15 cards per pack. It's all about keeping that price point down. And that's what it's really going to come down to. And probably the usual, 24 packs a box. The usual
Possibly.
Stuff. I don't think they're going to do anything wild. Shake it up. I think not, at least not for the first one. It might be something they have to see how it comes out afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, hold on. Good question. Universes booster.
So while you're doing that, doing some research, the thing that interests me is booster boxes they're not holding their value right now. So Star Wars Unlimited is a really interesting example where a booster box is kind of around that $100-ish mark, maybe 110. And then like 2 or 3 weeks later, they're barely holding $70-$80 value. So I just wait. Like I have no need to buy the box on release when I can save $20-$30 per box in a month, or in some sets even less than a month. Same thing with most trading card games. Other like Pokemon is the exception to the rule here, but like the value of booster boxes just tanks out so quickly. It's like, why not just sell it at that?
Well, I think it comes down to their chase too, and their chase value out of them. I mean, so Universes does 11 card packs, 24 packs a box.
How much is a box, or how much?
110. Oh, sorry, 110 for a box. So
okay.
$5. My math is right. What's 100?
Are you guaranteed a foil in each pack?
I don't think so. Character card. So it says each boost box in 24 11 card packs, each with 1 character card, 10 attacks, foundations, and more. So I don't think they have any guaranteed.
However,
foils.
if you're guaranteed a legend per pack, that's good.
But I guess it depends on if the only we have to see. It's all comes down to that weird secondary market of how their booster packs come out. I mean, if a legend's good, but you also want to tank legends where the collectors aren't buying it, because otherwise there's not going to be enough being opened.
But that's where that secret rare comes into play.
Yeah, I guess we really have to see. It's really what it's really going to come down to is like how big of a chase is the chase.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to be Flesh and Blood where you open one Majestic every, like 3 Majestics a box and your Majestics are $110. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. But I do want it like cheaper end, but not too, like you still have to appeal to your collectors in some form of capacity.
Right. So I'm thinking of Star Wars Unlimited, where every booster pack, you are guaranteed a leader card and you're guaranteed a location card, because they wanted the booster packs to be limited ready right out of the get.
Yeah.
So you could do multiplayer, you could do single player, you could do draft, you could do a limited tournament. Basically, everything you need is contained inside of a booster pack. But the big pull, the big chase is that showcase rare where they have a leader in alternate art, full foil, super cool. But those things are like, on average, we're finding they're probably like 1 in every 10 booster boxes, give or take. So it's about a case and a half because a case is 6 boxes, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So like showcase rares are really hard to find, but they generally command a couple $100. Some of them have gone upwards of like 5, 6, but usually they're like 200 to 300 on average. So like, you have that balance of, do I just buy the card or do I spend all the money trying to pull it, but I never pull it, and now I'm out of hundreds of dollars without the card I want. So I could see them have legends in every pack just as like a base rarity, and then you have like the chase versions that are hopefully not 1 in 10 booster boxes, maybe like 1 in a case. So that way you at least know, if I buy a case, I'm going to get it, versus if I buy a case, I might not get anything. And that feels bad because I know people who've bought 2 cases and got nothing. And that just sucks.
Yeah, it's really going. Yeah, I guess this also comes down to like how we also don't know. Hey man, we could talk a whole other hour about that. Is like, are they planning limited? Are they planning like? It's also come down to like, what's their format's idea in mind for this game? Is it just standard? Are they going to try and do limited? Are they going to try and do draft? Like, it's another section of, okay, what are they doing to help sort of figure out how they're going to plan their booster packs?
Do you think that's important for a game that's predicated on multiplayer? And they've said this multiple times. They want the cost of decks to be cheap. They want it to be multiplayer friendly. There is 1v1 tournament style, but they don't talk about that nearly as much as the multiplayer. Is limited important? Is that necessary?
Personally, no, but I also hate limited.
Oh,
I despise limited. I am on record. I'll be on record even more and say I literally hate any tournament system that offers like Pro Tours to go, oh yeah, you're going to do sealed. Are you going to do constructed for half, and then we're going to do sealed for the other half, and it's going to affect your ranking in this turn. It's like, no, sorry, never mind, I'm out. Can't do
that's
that.
fair. I like limited a lot, but I play it more casually. Maybe like a pre-release where, if you win, you get like 10 packs. Nothing crazy. You're just playing for fun. But yeah, I wouldn't go to I wouldn't go to a GT for limited, because it's just, if you don't get good cards, you're just screwed. You can't win. It doesn't matter how skilled you are. It's luck draw. Like, you got to get good cards to win.
Yeah, like, don't even get me. Yeah, I said hate it, despise it, 100% hate it.
That's fair.
I mean, some will probably complain about it, but I don't know. It's hard when you're making your first set. It's really hard. I don't doubt at some point they include it, but your first set, I don't think so as much.
Well, I feel like the market is getting to the point where the non-competitive player is finally getting some attention. Yeah. Because for so many years, it was very much like, we know that collectors spend most of the money, but players, especially in like the local tournament scene and the national and, worldwide stage, that's where we want to like draw people's attention, because they're the face of the game. And so you're focused on, limited, draft, sealed, all that stuff. And there's a lot of games that are coming out that I don't know if they care about limited or ever going to do limited, because it just doesn't really fit the brand. Because Lorcana doesn't have it. Obviously Star Wars Limited does. Obviously Magic does. Pokemon doesn't really have limited. They're doing fine. One Piece, do they do limited? I don't know much about limited.
They do sealed.
But it's not prominent compared to
no. It's more like their pre-release or release event stuff. You could do sealed at local level.
Yeah. So it seems like more games coming out now are focused less on the limited and sealed package and more focused on, let's just have a game that's fun and approachable and people can enjoy. And, if you want to do limited, you could do like a cube draft or something, but we're not going to officially support it.
No, yeah, I said, I think it's hard. I think it's definitely a lot harder. I think it's even more harder because people have issues finding teachers getting packs. It's harder for people to practice doing that type of thing. It just makes it more of an issue in the long run, I think, when they incorporate it.
I see what you're getting at.
especially because like even One Piece. I mean, my local has a One Piece booster box, and like the last set we sold out within the first week, and then couldn't get more at a distro. Like, how are people supposed to practice or prep or do stuff with that otherwise?
That's fair. Yeah, very fair.
So, no, I think we're bound to see. I don't think it will incorporate it. They could at some point because of how casual focused they want to be, but it wouldn't shock me if they don't.
I won't lie. I don't think it's necessary like it used to be. Because older games like kind of lived and died if they didn't have draft or sealed or some kind of limited format. Because Magic really, really pushed sealed and draft and limited stuff back in the 90s and early 2000s. But I really feel like we've kind of gotten away from that. It's not necessary. Especially when you could do a cube draft. Like so many people have said, Lorcana is the first thing that comes to mind. They've never done limited. They never said they're going to do limited. They just don't support limited. That's fine. But there's 7 sets on the market. You could do a cube draft to make your own limited set. Like you can totally make it happen. It's not official by any means, but the skeletal system is there. So I feel the same way about Riftbound. If they don't support it officially, by the time we get to the first year and a half, 2 years in, there'll be more than enough cards where you could build a cube draft and have your own limited stuff, and it'll probably be fine. It's not, at that point you're playing for the fun of it, not for anything more than that, because it's not a competitive format. It's just a fun, casual thing.
Yeah, so I think we have to see what's going to happen there. But no, like you said, I don't think it's going to be necessary anymore.
Especially with the big thing that's kind of a telltale sign that concerns me is the dual colors in the leader. So that makes it hard for limited. Star Wars Unlimited is a little bit easier because they only have 4 colors, and then they have hero or villainy and then neutral. So depending on how you build your sealed event. So if you draft a leader, it'll have 1 color. And then if you draft a base, it will have a 2nd color. So you can either choose to have 2 of the same color, so mono, blue, red, whatever, or you can have like, blue and a green or a red and a yellow, whatever you want. You get to pick. So because of the way Star Wars Unlimited is built, if you can only draft 1 color, then cool, you just have a leader and a base with the same color. With Riftbound, you're locked into 2 colors right off the rip. So it automatically makes the drafting process significantly more difficult because if you don't see cards in those colors, you're just in trouble.
I guess no different than Flesh and Blood is because you pick your hero and you're then locked into drafting their cards or generics.
Right. So there are games that follow the same system. My only argument for Flesh and Blood would be that game is like built around competitive everything right from the get-go.
Fair.
So
Fair.
Whenever they built Flesh and Blood, they took into account tournaments, multiplayer, sealed, limited, draft, all that stuff. Riftbound seems to very much be like a beer and pretzels kind of game where you play with your friends, you have some fun, you buy some packs at your local game store, and then you go home. Yeah. It doesn't feel necessarily like Flesh and Blood. It feels like a tournament game. Like the people playing this are not casual; they are sweaty.
Yeah, nope, 100%, and that makes fair. Yeah, I guess that would make it hard limited unless you do something like One Piece does, where sealed, where you just counts as all colors. But I feel like that would just make for some very broken stuff.
Sure, but it's a pre-release, and like, what do you win at a pre-release if you like top out? Like, how many booster packs?
It varies on the store. It's you mostly get whatever event kit they have, and then it's a winner promo card.
So you're not winning like a case, nothing crazy.
No, it depends on the store. But the major thing is sometimes the promos go for a lot. I think the promo from the most recent one was like $70 a pop right now.
Yeah.
So you get a decent amount of money, depending.
Sure. But I mean, if you said in limited, anything you pull from your, I don't think they're having fat packs. So, maybe it's like the standard 6 or 8 pack limited build a deck. Yeah. Everything's colorless, aka, it can be whatever color. You pick a leader you want, and then everything can be played with that. Sure, I'm fine with that because it's a pre-release. You're playing for the fun of the, week ahead of time. You get to touch these cards. No one's going to know all the permutations, especially when you generally get 50 minutes to build a deck after you crack the packs.
More than I get my locals. I say 30 minutes, and then we'll see.
Oh, you're nice. Okay, so yeah, you have 30 minutes. You have to crack packs. Unless you've memorized the entire set, which most people don't, you're just looking at cool stuff going, okay, this, I want, my Yasuo leader, and then I'm going to throw all these other cards in because they look cool because essentially they're colorless. Sure. That's fine. That's fun. It's just for the fun of it. I don't really think it needs to be much deeper than that, honestly.
No, that makes sense. In my mind, that makes sense. And one of those things that I think we're just, like I said, going to have to see where they take it, if they want to do it, and how it develops, if it does at all. I mean, I don't doubt they do a basic sealed level for pre-release and such, but tournament level, I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm also curious what their tournament scene is going to be. If it's going to be like 2v2, like they'll obviously have the 1v1. That's just standard.
I don't doubt 2v2 side events or something like that.
Well, I mean, if anyone would push the multiplayer functionality of a game, I think Riot's big enough with enough money and resources, they could have legitimate multiplayer tournaments because that's
I think it's no different than Gundam, though.
That's true. Gundam could do it as well. Yeah, I just think it'd be it'd be a nice shakeup to the market where most of the time you're going with buddies to tournaments anyways. Why not play with your friends in the tournament? That sounds like a lot of fun, especially since you're doubling up the amount of players. You could double up the amount of prize support.
What are friends?
Oh, well, they're usually people you interact with and you share similar, game time with. But that's a fair question.
Like, I don't know. I always had an issue because I played some TG where they're like, "Oh, we didn't make worlds. You can come to this event still and come do our 3v3 event." It's like, okay, so first I have to find 2 friends, all on the same schedule, and it's like hard to. Oh, and also if one friend drops, I'm screwed out of the whole event.
That's true. That's fair.
So I don't think they're healthy. I think they're fun events, like minor events if they do them. I don't think you're gonna see like a PT, like anything major level, including it.
Okay. I'm intrigued because I'm starting to notice companies focusing on multiplayer. That's what's kind of got my eye. Whether it works or not is fine. But Russia iCore is completely predicated on 3v3. Project K, Riftbound, is multiplayer, which I'm going to assume was probably like a 4-player pod. So more companies are starting to expand into that multiplayer experience. So I'm curious if they're going to commit to it with, events and prize support that isn't a side event. Whether I don't know. I'm just
how many of these I wondered too were developed in the bubble of starting with COVID, where people really were playing with friends.
Well, I would not be surprised if this and iCore were in that bubble because we're right around that time frame of they started the development idea, then they processed some rules, and then they started playtesting, and then they got financial approval. And usually 5 years isn't wrong.
I mean, even at 2020 COVID, like we've still been in a soft COVID in like 2022. Like we had a re-spike of it. So we're in that 2 to 3 year window where people were still dealing with COVID for a couple years after.
Yeah.
When everything was being pushed towards that way, or people starting to try and rush to develop, play with your friends type deal.
Which you clearly don't have any, so you don't count.
No, I don't have any.
Okay.
The reason why I play World of Warcraft.
Oh. It's all making sense. Everything's coming together now.
Why didn't I do content creation?
Oh. I'm gonna have to take a hard look at my life after we get off of this.
Starting to realize some things about himself coming true.
Oh no. What have I done? League of Legends trading card game like Gundam hobbyist. Oh no.
Yep, it's literally just me and the wife.
Oh no. Oh no. Help. Someone said help. Oh man.
Sorry, 2 hours later, you're gonna realize you've been speaking to yourself this entire time.
Oh no! The Twilight Zone music starts playing. There was never anyone on the other side of the mic.
Yep, this you recording to yourself, just nothing but empty noise.
Oh Lord, that would be terrible. That would be horrifying. Well, I'm glad that's not the case. I really am glad we can talk about this game. I mean, I think we covered kind of all the bases. There's a lot to unpack. There really is a lot to unpack, even though we only got a 5-minute video. We can extrapolate quite a bit. And We'll definitely do more content as we get more information, because this was fun. I really like talking to you about games, especially this one. This one looks sharp. Very excited.
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited. I'm hoping we have a decent. I don't want it to come out in like November, December. Like, see, look, we told you 2025. I don't want that. I really don't.
Where
I'm
do
really
you
hoping
want it
it's
to
like
land?
it's gotta be October at this rate. I mean, you have too many coming out in July that people have to recoup their money. And you have summer's August for China. So it's like the only thing that really makes sense to me is October.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I could see it. Because that would be the start of Q4.
yep.
Or correction, that would be calendar Q4. We don't know what their fiscal quarters are, because everybody's all over the place.
True.
Okay, last speculation, then we really are going to get out of here because I'm hungry. What if Gen Con is the launch?
I doubt it. Not if they just said China's summer.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I mean, when's Gen Con in? Isn't Gen Con summer?
August.
August? Yeah. There's no way. If they said China's summer, there's no way. There's no way it's the launch.
When do you think China will launch? Like June, July?
Probably July-ish.
Okay.
Much of that sucks for English, but like that seems to be the market where every other TCG is dropping right now. I mean, you're sitting the start of Q3.
Yeah.
Which is like perfect.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, July is the start of Q3.
Yeah, which is like perfect. Start of Q3, get everything in, gives you enough time to recoup, figure out your financials as well for tax upcoming, and then good to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. I could see China July, and then 3 months later, the Americas get October.
Yep.
There's so much potential there. I feel like a holiday release is possible, but October makes sense. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We have to see what's coming out, and then pretty much go from there.
And then we always have to hold back the classic. It's been delayed due to X, Y, or Z reason.
Oh, please no! People would riot at this point. People literally riot.
I think after the UVS announcement, they got their ducks in a row for distro. So I feel pretty confident they're not going to do something like that. But like you said, we don't know what the printing level is going to be. And again, no offense to universes or anyone playing that game, but it's such a small community that, you know, if they make claims like, oh, you know, we've been able to print all of these sets and we've been able to fulfill all the distribution, that's probably true because it's significantly smaller than what Riftbound is going to be. So unless they've accurately predicted the amount of supply to match the demand, you're right. It's probably going to be a little rough around the edges. If they're able to announce print on demand and multiple waves where it's like, you know, October, we're going to have wave 1, and November, we're going to have wave 2, and December, we're going to have wave 3, that would suppress a lot of fears. That would discourage scalping, and it would accomplish exactly what you said. The game gets into the hands of the players, and the overall value of decks is low to the ground, but the collector value of the super rare or whatever other treatment they have still remains valuable, because you don't want a Lorcana problem where you pull an enchanted and it's $50.
Yeah.
And you feel really bad because you technically pulled the hardest thing to find, but it's still only worth what 10 packs cost. That feels bad. You need something to hold the value of your set, so that way people want to buy the product, not just buy singles and be done with it.
Yeah. Nope, that makes sense.
So,
but no, I mean, we've been chatting for what, an hour and a half?
2 hours.
2 hours? Really?
Almost 2. Yeah. Dang. Time goes by.
For real. And that's just off a 1 5-minute video.
Isn't it great? This is awesome. I don't think that's a bad thing that we're passionate about the games we like, because I feel like it would be more interesting to listen to two people talk about stuff they love. And we talked about a lot of different topics. It wasn't just the 5-minute video, like a breakdown of like each frame. Like we covered like the playability, the OP, the business side, the distro side, release date speculation, promos. There's a lot to unpack. And I mean, if we're thinking about it, there's other people who are thinking about it for sure. We're not the only ones here.
Oh, 100%. And just think, this is going to be live time, going live in a couple days.
Yeah, what's today? Monday. So this goes live Wednesday morning. So day and a half, less than 48 hours.
Have fun editing.
Good news. I just throw it in the timeline, chop the front and back, and then just let it go.
Oh, we cleaned it up. Gotcha.
Yeah, unless there's like a curse word or a huge gap, which there wasn't, I don't do any editing. So it feels a lot more organic and not like, every single moment is edited so it's perfect. Much more natural. But
we don't want radio sound effects on pew 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 pew.
You can do radio sound effects and I'll just edit it and be like, welcome to the pew 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 pew.
It's full on radio, talk radio.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
With Howard Stern show now.
Oh no! They curse way too much on that show. No. Terror bad, horror bad. No. But before we get on out of here, as always, please plug yourself, plug your store, where people can find your content. Because I'm pretty confident you're going to start doing some content on this at some point. And where should people go?
So you guys can find me at RARAVIN on YouTube, and then just add TCG to that for X and Blue Sky. Find me at those. My store, I don't have live yet. It's going to be Cardboard Chaos Games. I'm working with the owner, getting him up on TCG Player, as he's literally just him and myself as I help him when I'm not working full time. So it's one of those things that will be happening soon. But yeah, look me up, have fun, follow my stuff, follow my Unhinged stuff, follow my World of Warcraft posts and my now recoming trading card posts as we go from there.
Sounds fun. Oh man, once spoiler season hits, we're gonna jam some conversations. I guarantee you that.
Well, 100%. I'm just hoping. I'm crossing my fingers to get a spoiler card. I love spoiler season. I love it. Love it.
You and me both. I'll send an email to Dave and be like, "Hey man, remember me?"
Yeah, remember this? Hey, just like that in casting. I'll pray. Probably won't get casting because there's so many good people, but one day.
You don't never say never. It could happen.
It could happen. I just know from cohorts, I guess is a word. There's a lot of good people applying. A lot of good people. So I'm really interested to see how that shakes out in their first event in casting and all that. It's why it also comes down to why I want internal versus hiring out the PPG and such.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could definitely do it. You've got your stuff.
Thanks. Now we just hope Riot sees it. Cross our fingers.
Now we wait for the next 5-minute video where they announce whatever that will be. But I'm willing to bet it's probably not going to be until the Chinese release. Like when we get closer to summer, we'll get more information. There's probably going to be a little bit of a lull, a couple of like drops here and there, and they're probably focused on that Chinese launch because if that's as close as they say it is, tomorrow is August, which means they're 4 months from launch in China market.
April, by the way, not August.
April. You're right. Wrong. A month.
Man, we just skipped 3 months. Like,
it's Gen Con now. Yeah, tomorrow we start the Gen Con season.
We've really been talking.
Yeah, no joke. But I mean, like the going to launch a new game in a market, any market, especially one as big as China, like that requires a lot of paperwork. That requires a lot of people. That requires a lot of hours of just labor. So Riot has some work to do, and the fact that they were able to punch out a video going, "Hey, here's all this new stuff we did. Here's all these updates to UI, all these changes. Also, it's coming to market in China in summer." Wow. Okay, so that means the product is already on the boat or in a warehouse somewhere because they've got to start distributing that in the next 2 months so stores can get it. So they're done with the Chinese variants of these cards, and the American versions are definitely at the printer, if not about to hit the boat to get to warehouses within the next month or two.
100%.
So when I know people think they were joking when they said, "Oh, set 2, that's done." They're not joking. Set 2 is finished. It's about to get sent to the printer, and they're going to start looking at set 3 because I don't know if people know the length of time, but usually it's like a 9 to 12 month process to go from designing it, getting it in a warehouse, getting it to printer, getting it into a warehouse. So Yeah. They're done with 1. They're definitely done with 2. They're working on 3.
Yeah, which is why I was more shocked that 1 did get the rework. That's why I was really shocked. Yeah, they got the reworked art. I honestly thought it wasn't going to hit till set 2.
Yeah, you made that prediction, and I'm glad that you were wrong. This looks way better.
Yeah, like I said, we both know that timeline the way it takes. That's why I'm really shocked. That's why I'm even more shocked that we're still getting 2025 release.
Yeah, it's so. I don't know what happened. Maybe they just didn't sleep for like a week.
For real.
Something had to give, because we both know that timeline, and it's like, how did they pull this off? Because it's March, the end of March.
Yeah.
They made the big announcement about Project K. We were talking about this in December, January. So it's only been 3 months, tops.
Yeah.
2.5 realistically. And the fact that they have fully redesigned cards, new UI, like,
I guess it might help. That one is probably already finished, so it's just fixing the UI stuff.
True, but I mean, who knows how long that would have taken?
Yeah, I guess it depends how many people are dedicated to it too. Versus just one person versus like a team of like 4 or 5.
And we don't know. We don't know how big the team is. We know that Riot has the money and the resources. So, I mean, maybe they sent over some of the League of Legends artists to help get the UI kind of developed. I don't know. I'd love to ask Dave, at what point did they just dump the resources necessary to redo all of the UI so it looks good? That story would be fascinating.
It'd be good for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on out of here. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry. You're hungry. But my name's Sugi. You're here with Kado Games. Check us out at kadogames.com. Check out Rav. We're going to have links to all of his stuff in the show notes. And once your TCG player account gets up, go buy some cards. Get some cool stuff from them. We will see everyone next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. We will see you on the next episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow. And as always, remember, here at Kado Games, play games, have fun.